Is that working?
There it is.
Awesome. Okay, hi, I am Sam. I'm the founder of Loci, which is a course authoring tool for location centric training and engagement. So, for the last decade, my focus has been at the intersection of neuroscience, instructional design, and emergency preparedness. I've built full scale digital twins for large manufacturing facilities used in training and deployed interactive web games about COVID and germ safety to millions of students globally. But my why started with the Vegas shooting. My friends survived, but after that, I couldn't stop thinking about how little people are actually shown about how to stay safe. And the stuff we do show them is in the worst format possible for retention and understanding. Maps, floor plans, that kind of thing. And so I decided to do something about it. The name loci actually comes from an ancient memorization technique over 2,000 years old called the method of loci. You may also know it as a memory palace or mind palace. And it's still used by memory champions today to remember ridiculous amounts of information, such as thousands of digits of pi. And thanks to science, we now know why organizing memories in space is so effective. The first line of code in every memory we form is where we are in space. So you've probably experienced forgetting what you're doing and then retracing your steps back to where you had that thought. And then you're like, yes, what was I doing? Getting a snack. If you're me, you were getting a snack. And maybe it was something more important for you. But this is the core principle that powers loci. Our system generates QR codes, safety drills, much like a scavenger hunt, sending learners into their own environments to solve scenarios. And my mission is to completely eliminate classroom based PowerPoint presentations trying to pass as training. So if you feel called out, don't worry. 99% of the places I have visited, the workplaces I've worked with, all do training this way. This is how their onboarding works. It's maybe a 60 to 90 page slide presentation crammed into people's brains in 1 hour. But the sad thing is, this is usually the only hour safety managers actually get with employees in their whole tenure. It's usually just this 1 hour, which is scary. But the worst part about this is that we forget 80% of what we learn within 24 hours. It's like 77%, but by the next day, it's well over 80. And this is really scary because it means that we have quite low morale. We come across as compliance auctioneers, right? And in my own surveys of manufacturing and university campuses, one of the most scary things that came, or alarming pieces of data that came out of my surveys, was that if you ask people how they feel they'll respond in an emergency, there's usually this sort of like false sense of confidence that they'll be fine. But if you ask them how they feel their coworkers will respond in an emergency, less than 1 in 10 people trust that their coworkers know what to do. So this speaks directly to your training and onboarding program. And also in that survey, over half of the people don't know where their secondary exit routes are. More than 70% of people polled admit they don't know where the fire extinguishers, first aid kits, and AEDs, other critical safety fixtures, are. Yikes. Okay. But let's figure out why, right? So we're going to go through a little neuroscience of learning crash course. We know passive learning sucks. We've established this. But why it sucks is that slide-based instruction actually barely activates the prefrontal cortex, which is just for surface level attention, but it completely bypasses the hippocampus, which is responsible for encoding long-term memory. And I think sometimes we forget that the brain is in our whole body. So without context, movement, or relevance, our memory systems stay inactive. The brain has no reason to retain static information. So what works is retrieval practice, recalling information instead of just rereading it. So actually being quizzed on it. So you have to, sort of stand by what you know. This improves retention by 40%. So even if you just add a quiz, like, you're increasing the retention by 40%. Now, if you do spaced recall, right? If you actually give people time to sleep in between, because sleeping is when we consolidate all of our memories, and then ask them again, or refresh them again, this is going to have an even greater impact. And the other big thing that is important about the neuroscience of learning is that discovery and applied problem solving is really important. So when a learner has to actually find, test, and apply the information, it builds competence, not just comprehension. And so how do we actually fix this 1 hour then to like apply all these principles? Well, I don't work for CoAssemble. I have no association with them, but there are these online tools that let you flip the format, right? You can take that PowerPoint, you've already created it, and really easily turn it into an e-learning module. Well, why is this important? As I just said, when somebody discovers the information for themselves, far more likely to remember it, right? You giving them this presentation, they're not going to remember it. So, uh, CoAssemble is a great tool. I'm going to be showing it in my room today, how you can really quickly just turn a presentation or an SOP into a little course. And then the other side of that is taking all the information out of your slide deck that's about place-based information, like where's the AED, where's the extinguishers, that kind of thing, and creating a loci drill. So if you're on desktop and you want to try a drill right now, I think I have enough time to get us through. Just hold up your phone. We're going to scan the code, and you should see something load up that says, hold on. Never mind. I don't think oh yeah, we do. Demo evacuation safety drill. Um, so in this, we can just skip the drill instructions. You're going to find a start marker. This grounds you in where you are. So you're going to scan the start marker, and it'll assign you a mission. So if you're not following along on your phone, I'm just going to read to you what's on the screen. Your mission is to earn your uncontained fire badge. The instructions are to search around this area for QR code stickers that look like this. They're pink. Scanning any sticker will launch an uncontained fire scenario. Resolve one scenario by finding the nearest fire alarm pole, primary exit, and muster or assembly point. So you start looking around, you see that there is a little sticker and it tells you that there's an outlet fire spreading up the wall. So now you need to find the alarm pole to alert others. You look around, you find the nearest alarm pole. Great. Next, find the primary exit and scan the marker. And I'm going quickly here, so sorry if I've missed you and you missed the markers, but success, you found the primary exit. And next you find the assembly point. Great, you've earned a badge. So this is a really simple concept, but it will free you, right? Like you've just turned that whole PowerPoint, that brutal PowerPoint, into an e-learning module and physical drills. So now you have an hour with people, an hour with the people you're responsible for to actually build connection, build trust, role play refusing work, practice CPR on a dummy. There is so much you can do in this classroom that will just bring people to life in your safety culture. And that's truly my hope for you. I know it's easier said than done because the hardest thing about being a safety leader is usually battling the status quo. But there is a squad in your organization, and I mean, it depends on the size of your organization, but most people I work with are larger organizations. They have a facilities person, they have an HR person, they have a learning team. And a lot of times I notice that safety managers are sort of isolating themselves. They don't realize that there's these like other departments with really expensive integrated software and tools that have sort of been more matured in the organization than the safety team, and they can really support you. So facilities will help you with uh, scheduling drills, making sure all the fixtures are in the right place. HR, they know who's here, right? So they're the first touch, and they can actually make sure that you know who's coming in and that they're going to be able to assign the training. The learning team is the most critical, and a lot of times they're the most frustrating to get a hold of. But they're the gatekeepers to the learning management system. And as a safety leader, you absolutely have every right and should be completely empowered to be using that learning management system. It's probably costing your organization $50,000 a year. Like they're not cheap. And so making sure that you're actually using this tool will really help the whole organization and make you look good, and it'll free up all your time. So once you've got this buy-in, right? Like, hey, we're all wasting our time in these onboardings. Let's actually do something about it. Let's increase this impact. And then you need to communicate the ROI to and impact to leadership. So what I like to do, because as much as you can tell them that being safe saves money, they really only care about upfront costs in my experience. So let's talk about, stopped work, right? How much time are we wasting of stopped work, and what does that cost? So there's little calculations you can do, right? Number of drills per year, stopped work, and really figuring out how much revenue per minute your company creates, and then using that to say, let's not waste time. So if you come to my room today, we're going to be talking about bring slides you hate, bring presentations you hate, because what we're going to do is we're going to work on transforming those. You're going to leave with a cardiac event drill. You're going to leave with an overdose drill, completely free. And I just want you to feel empowered to actually use some tools that will change that hour. So thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. If there's any questions, please go ahead. Oh,
Doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat, but,
great.
um, no, that was amazing. So who knew that compliance could be so much fun? And
Great.
gamification is right in my wheelhouse. So you've got a great solution for getting people out of their seat and gaining some muscle memory because we know our brains don't always use it. They don't work at 100% when we're in fight or flight mode, especially.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
oh, Graham did say, I love the loci concept. Looking forward to transforming evacuation training.
Yeah, shout out Graham. We're partnering because it's like we both solve like the issue of drills on different ends of the spectrum, right? Like
That's awesome.
head count is like where are people, but it's like also do people even know where their muster stations are? So together we think we can really eliminate a lot of stop work.
That's awesome. I love it because great ideas come from these little conversations. So I'm glad you guys are connected. So if you haven't already talked with Sam, Loci is sponsoring the Let's Get Physical discussion room. Be sure to click on the board outside of a room because she made a really cool graphic. Reminds me of my childhood, or at least I think it's
Like the
cool.
workout videos, right? Exactly.
Yeah, yep. Exactly. So, next up is our first networking session. So, but before we get started, I want to take another opportunity to thank Headcount, our corporate sponsor. We will hear from Graham this afternoon. The National Safety Council. Unfortunately, Abby messaged this morning. She had an emergency pop up, so she will not be joining us, but she did provide a presentation that she recorded, and we'll go ahead and be able to play that for her. And our gold sponsors, CIP Solutions, EHS Momentum, Intensi, and Opticare Connect. Again, also our silver and our bronze sponsors, we'll shout them out here in a little bit, but Sam is one of our silver sponsors, so thank you, Sam. Again, this event would not be possible without all of our sponsors today. So now let's get to networking. Our networking sessions will run till 11:15, and after that, we'll hit a 45-minute lunch, but that doesn't mean you need to stop networking. I just need a little bit